It all started with what felt like an ordinary decision, the kind you make every day without a second thought. I stepped into nature with confidence and curiosity, never imagining that within hours, it would turn into a nightmare of pain, fear, and absolute isolation. You see, Snake Creek isn't the kind of place that forgives mistakes. Once you're deep inside it, there are no second chances, no easy exits. Just narrow paths, jagged rocks, thick vegetation, and a silence so heavy it feels alive. On that day, the plan was simple. Enter the area, explore for a few hours, and head back before dark. But plans mean nothing to nature. Snake Creek has a way of turning confidence into pure panic without any warning. The journey began calmly enough. My steps were steady, my mind focused. The surroundings were beautiful, but there was an uneasy feeling in the air. The creek cut through the land like a deep scar. The air was damp and cool, and the ground was uneven and slippery in places. But nothing felt dangerous enough to turn back. And that was my first mistake. Every step I took deeper into the wilderness made the way back harder to recognize. Landmarks started to blur together, and my sense of direction slowly weakened. But my mind just brushed it off. I trusted my memory, my instinct. That trust lasted until the moment everything changed in a single, terrifying heartbeat. One wrong step on a loose rock sent my body crashing down. Pain exploded through my leg and my side. The breath was knocked right out of me, and the world just spun. For a few terrifying seconds, there was only silence and shock. Then came the gut-wrenching realization that something was badly wrong. I tried to stand, but the pain was unbearable. My leg refused to support any weight at all. Every movement sent sharp, agonizing waves through my body. And that's when the fear truly set in. Being injured in Snake Creek is not like being injured anywhere else. There's no quick help, no passing hikers, no cell signal. There is only wilderness, stretching endlessly in every direction. As the minutes passed, the pain settled into a deep, relentless throb. My mind raced through the options. I tried calling for help, screaming until my throat was raw. I checked my phone, desperately hoping for even a single bar of signal. But the screen showed nothing. No connection to the outside world. No way to call anyone for help. The silence around me felt louder than any scream I could ever let out. Panic started to creep in as the reality of my situation became horribly clear. Not only did I have a serious injury, but the path back was no longer obvious. The creek twisted and curved in ways I didn't remember. The terrain looked completely different from how it had on the way in. Just standing still made it even harder to think clearly. Time passed with agonizing slowness as the sun began to lower in the sky, stretching long, dark shadows across the rocks. Every sound became a threat. Rustling leaves, distant animal calls, even the sound of the water moving through the creek, all of it fed the growing fear that I was truly, completely alone, utterly cut off from everything and everyone. I knew I had to make a decision. I had to move, despite the pain. I knew that staying still could be just as deadly as trying to walk. Every single step was torture. I dragged my injured leg forward, using rocks and branches for support, stopping constantly just to breathe through the searing pain. Thirst was becoming a serious problem. Sweat mixed with dirt and blood on my skin. My body was weakening far faster than I could have ever expected. With each painful movement, I fought to keep my mind focused, to remember the basic rules of survival. Stay calm, conserve energy, think before acting. But fear has a way of shattering logic, especially when night starts to fall. And when darkness finally came, Snake Creek transformed into something far more terrifying. The temperature plummeted. The shadows swallowed up all the familiar shapes around me. The sounds of wildlife grew closer, more unsettling. Every snap of a twig felt like something was watching me, waiting. With no shelter and limited supplies, the struggle became just as mental as it was physical. I forced my body to curl up against the cold rocks for a little bit of warmth, fighting off sleep because closing my eyes felt like the most dangerous thing I could do. My thoughts drifted to the worst-case scenarios. My injury getting worse, dehydration setting in, the animals in the dark, or simply never being found. Moments of pure hopelessness crept in, whispering that this might be the end. That one simple mistake was all it took. Yet somehow, deep in that darkness, a stubborn will to survive pushed back. It was a small voice, but it was there, reminding me that giving up would guarantee the worst possible outcome. The night dragged on. Every hour felt like an eternity. The pain eventually numbed into a state of pure exhaustion. My mind started playing tricks on me. Hallucinations flickered at the edge of my vision, shapes appearing and disappearing in the darkness. I kept replaying the accident over and over again, wishing I had made a different choice, taken a different step. But eventually, morning came, bringing a weak, gray light and a small sense of renewed hope. My injury was worse, though. My leg was swollen and stiff, and movement was even harder than before. I had to make a decision. Stay where I was and hope someone happened to search this exact area or attempt one final, desperate escape. Risking everything on a slow, painful crawl toward what I prayed was the right direction, I chose to move again. I had to push my body far past its limits. Every inch was earned through sheer force of will. I fell more times than I can count, scraping my skin, nearly collapsing from exhaustion. But each small victory, each few feet I gained, fueled my determination to keep going. And then, finally, after what felt like an endless amount of suffering, a distant sound broke through the silence. Voices, faint but real. I summoned every last ounce of my remaining strength, and a desperate, ragged call for help echoed through Snake Creek. That call led to the moment when help finally arrived, ending the nightmare that began with a single, simple step. As the rescue team reached me and the reality of my survival started to set in, the aftermath felt incredibly heavy. My injuries would take months to heal. The mental scars would last even longer. But I also gained a deep, profound respect for how unforgiving nature can be. Snake Creek didn't attack me. It didn't chase me. It simply waited for me to make a mistake. And that is the most terrifying lesson of all. Survival often comes down to preparation, awareness, and a healthy dose of humility. In places like Snake Creek, being lost, injured, and alone isn't just a story. It's a warning. It is a reminder to every single one of us that nature doesn't care how confident you are, only how prepared you choose to be. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content. Stay safe out there.